Good morning. Another beautiful day in paradise.
So who says you can't make money at backpacking? So this morning I had to do about a quarter-mile road walk between where the trail came out and went back in. And I always walk against traffic. I like to see what's going to kill me. And I was looking down with my good eye, saw a $5 bill. And then about 5 steps later, on the $20 bill. That's more money than I'll make on PACKTOTER YouTube channel in a month. So it's very profitable road walking. I hate road walking, but if I could find 25 bucks every time I did it, I'd do more of it. So anybody that lost $25 out their car window in the UP of Michigan in June, call me and I'll tell you how many strawberry milkshakes it bought. So it's a little foggy this morning. Sun's trying to burn through. It didn't rain last night, but I'm still gonna have to dry my tent out because of the fog this morning. My tent's very fogged. And last night though, my neighbor was a Nighthawk, so like a whippoorwill. We have a lot of those out here too. But the Nighthawk, when you hear it, the way they hunt is, they fly silent, just like the whippoorwill. And the way they hunt is they get up to altitude, and like a peregrine falcon, they fold those wings and open that big gaping mouth of theirs and just dive, picking up bugs as they're coming down. And then, just like a combat pilot, when they get close to the deck, they throw those flaps out and they make this real rushing air sound of their turn instead of hitting the ground. And it's very distinctive. They don't make much of a nest. I've only found one in my whole lifetime. They're kind of lazy, I guess. They just scratch out a little spot in the ground and lay about 4 eggs. And like a whippoorwill, they'll sit on it and they fly pretty silently, so you just have to come across those things. You don't go out looking and finding them. But anyway, lots of sounds in the forest, lots of birds this time of year, and it's really enjoyable walking and sleeping at night listening to all these sounds. Haven't heard an owl yet. So somebody asked me if I carried a Smartwatch, and I think the answer is yes, because it tells me the time and the date, and the battery's good for about 2 years. But if you're talking about one of those that have a odometer on it and a heart monitor, no. And probably the big reason I wouldn't carry that is it's just something else to charge. Let me slap a mosquito here, thanks. I've got enough stuff to charge my phone, use my phone for a lot of video and photography and route finding, keeping in touch with my wife. And it's hard enough keeping that thing charged. And then I had my headlamps that I use every morning in the dark. I got to keep them charged up. And I carry a block, but it's kind of a hassle. Even when I stop at a restaurant and I can get some power, I usually don't stay there long enough to charge everything up, so I don't need a watch that I have to do the same thing with. All I want to know is time and date. I use my watch all the time to see kind of what my pace is for the day, if I have to pick it up or not. And that's really all I need. I'm sure if I'm going to have a heart attack, I'll be the first guy to know. I don't have to have a watch to tell me. You hear that rumbling? I just crossed a set of railroad tracks and there's a train coming through. What are the chances of that out here in the middle of nowhere? Another thing I have to charge, but not very often, is my inReach. You know, it's good for a couple of weeks. Now, I don't use it to set breadcrumbs. I only turn it on about 3 times a day to stay in communication with my wife. And, you know, that's another thing if you carry an inReach and you're in grizzly country. You go for your bear spray first or your inReach. You have to pull that inReach out, find the SOS button so that in the future your wife will know where to find your bones, or at least which bear scat to find your inReach. I think probably the better bet though is go for the bear spray first and hope for the best. Natural trail maintenance. I'm not sure if this is a beaver pond or a frog pond. So I've been hiking since 5:30 this morning, and it's just steady, hard rain. Thunder keeps rolling through, lightning. Woods are wet. But that's a day when you have to decide you want to eat. You know, it's 9:30 and I already have 10 miles in because I don't really want to stop much, but I just stopped back there and had my breakfast anyway. So on a day like this, you just have to get your sit pad out. Hopefully you're carrying a sit pad. Kind of crouch under your umbrella. Hopefully you're carrying an umbrella. And eat your lunch. And the rain really hasn't knocked the mosquitoes down much, so I'm under an umbrella. Got mosquito netting and gloves on to keep the flies, the black flies and the mosquitoes away. And again, I tell you, you got to find your magic in between the misery. But when I was sitting there having breakfast, I was surrounded by yellow lady slippers. I could hear peewees, wood thrush, hermit thrush, a lot of warblers. For me, that's the magic. I'll sit in the rain and listen to that every day. So it's noon. I just came down here to get some water, and I found a snake that just had lunch, you can tell. In there somewhere. It's probably a frog. Hey, don't get all upset now. So the rain's let up. It's just kind of foggy now. I actually put my tent up, climbed in, and took an hour nap. I'm just tired of the rain. I never did put on my snug pack poncho or my chaps. You know, it's hot and muggy and very wet, but in this kind of weather, if I put those chaps on and then put that snug pack poncho on, it'd just be a walking sauna bath. So I just used my umbrella, got wet, you know, it keeps my head and the top of my pack and the water off my pack. Most things in my pack are waterproof, it doesn't really matter. And it's like I say, it's warm enough to be comfortable, but you know, next month I'll be out in Glacier at elevation, and when you get a rain like that out there, it usually comes with wind and cold. So that snug pack poncho actually becomes another layer and a windbreak. Keeps the water off you, because you can get hypothermic quickly out there. So, you know, I've got it right in my front pocket. I can pull it out and put it on in 2 minutes, but you just have to know when to use it. So the trip's over. I'm in St. Ignace. I've got to get across the Mighty Mac Bridge here to the lower peninsula. So last night I came in and slept in the woods back there at this Michigan Welcome Center. It is a rest area, so I rested for several hours, and now I've got to go down to this administrative building here, give them $5 and they'll take me across the bridge. Keep smiling.